Hi, welcome to Chair Chats, the lifestyle show with a disability twist. I'm your host, Pauline Victoria. I love a good story that inspires me to be greater. And today's story is all about inspiration, whether you have a disability or not, because our guest exemplifies what's possible when you have a vision. At 8 years old, Lex Gillette lost his sight completely due to retina detachments in both eyes. Yet, that did not stop this Paralympic track and field athlete, singer songwriter, and motivational speaker. As a two-time silver medalist from the 2004 and 2008 Paralympics, and currently the fastest totally blind American athlete over 100 meters, we are privileged to have Lex Gillette with us today as he is in the UK right now preparing for the 2012 Paralympics. So please open your minds and your hearts to Lex Gillette. Thank you, Lex, for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Pauline.
I know it's probably really busy over there, but I know that this was like one of the first years the Paralympics has been sold out. What is it like being there right now? What's the feeling?
Well, we had opening ceremonies on Wednesday, and the atmosphere was so electrifying. There was so many people inside, and it was really loud. Very great opening ceremonies, and yeah, it sold out. So I think that's really good for the Paralympic movement, and really good for all of the athletes competing this week.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have the public rally around the Paralympics when we know it doesn't get as equal coverage in the media. So it's nice to see people are coming out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'd like to, you being a Paralympian is a huge accomplishment in itself, but I know there are other facets to you, and I just want to, have our audience connect with you a little bit more and have you tell our audience a little bit about, what it was like to go blind, how growing up was. I know your mom was instrumental in raising you, so what was your childhood like?
Childhood started off pretty, quote unquote normal. I did anything that any other kid would do. So, I would go outside, I would ride my bicycle, roller skate, anything that I could get my hands on or, get involved in to have fun. And I can remember coming home from school. I was about 7 years old and went through the same routine. And later on that evening, after eating with my family, I started noticing that the lights in our house were dimming, and didn't really know what was going on at this time. So I told my mom, and she had thought maybe I had some dirt or something in my eyes from playing outside earlier in the day. So I just, washed my eyes out with some water, and that didn't really help the situation too much. So the next morning, she had taken me to the hospital, and that's when they said that I needed to have an emergency operation because I was having retina detachments in my eyes. And just for everyone to understand, basically, if your retina is a part of your eye, and if it's not attached, then your brain can't recognize the images that your eyes see. So they had to go inside and try to attach that.
Wow, and so it didn't work because
Yeah, they tried one time, and it seemed like it did work. So for about 2 or 3 weeks, my vision had been stabilized. I lost a significant amount of it, but what I did have, they had stabilized it for those 2 or 3 weeks, and then the same problem happened again. So they had to go in and operate again. Thought they fixed it. Same thing happened. So 2, 3 weeks later, I had to have another operation, and basically for that year that I was 8 years old, I had 10 operations, and after the last one, the doctors couldn't do anything else to help my vision. So I just slowly lost vision over the next few months, and it just got to the point where I could only see like daylight and night.
okay. So then, that was probably a huge challenge, not only for you, but your family, because they probably were not prepared for this little bump in the road. But I know on your website at lexgillette.com, how did your mom handle it, and what kind of values did she instill in you that allowed you to push yourself beyond what most people would say is a blind man is capable of?
Yeah, my mom has. She's definitely helped me out a tremendous amount. So from the time that I did find out that I was going to lose my sight, she thought of any and everything that she could to place me in the best position to be successful. So I began to learn how to read Braille. I learned how to use a cane so I could travel around on my own. And I think one of the coolest things that my mom did was she kept me in public school, and that was to help out with, just having an atmosphere where I was still with my sighted peers. That really helped me out a lot on so many levels, especially socially. Uh, and I think by the time that I had gotten to be about 11 or 12, I was already learning how to iron my clothes, and my mom made me clean my room and clean the bathroom and wash dishes, take out the trash. So, by the time I was a teenager in high school, I was able to come home from school and, take care of things on my own, get my homework done and any chores that I needed to get done. And then, later on, um, my mom, just like any other parent, she would allow me to go out, hang out with my friends or, anything like that. So she just instilled in me everything that I needed in order to be successful.
Okay. And so basically she didn't treat you any different. She had the same expectations as if you were a sighted child.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I know my parents did the same for me, and I think I believe that we all hit the bar that's placed in front of us. So might as well set the bar high. So, okay, so then Lex, how, some people believe that your purpose, you find your purpose, or some people believe that your purpose finds you. In terms of the running and becoming an athlete and using your body to push the limits, how did that come about?
Well, my family, everyone on my mom's side of my family, they're all athletic. And before I had lost my vision, I was in recreational baseball, and me and my friends would go in the backyard and play kickball or do this and that. So and I've always been athletic. So once I did lose my sight, it wasn't that I had lost that aspect of my life. It was just that I needed to find it again, just in its different light since I couldn't see. And so once I had gotten to the point where there came a point where I got my confidence back, and I became a lot more confident in myself and my abilities. So I would venture out and, try to be a part of different activities and try to see how it was without being able to see. Um, but it wasn't until I got into high school and one of my teachers had introduced me to track and field. And that came about because we had physical fitness tests in my freshman year of high school. And so basically you would do as many push-ups, pull-ups, um, and one of the other events was standing long jump. So you would just stand on one location and you would jump forward as far as you could. And I had one of the best standing long jumps in my school, and I was only like one of 5 or 10 visually impaired kids. Everyone else was sighted. So that was unheard of at that time. People didn't really expect for someone who couldn't see to be able to do that. And once we figured that out, my coach had taken me to the track one day, and he physically showed me everything, how the track was laid out. And specifically, he showed me the long jump runway. And so of course, you have the runway, and then you have a takeoff board that you jump from, and then you have the sand pit. And since I was really good at jumping, he was like, all right, well, let's try to incorporate the run. And me being who I am, I was like, well, how am I going to be able to do this? And he was like, well, I'm going to stand by the board and I'm going to clap for you. I'm going to give you an audible sound, and you're going to run at me. We're going to count your steps and you're going to jump. And I tried it a couple times and didn't really like it at first, but that was only because it wasn't in my comfort zone. So after a while, we just kept working at it, working at it, working at it. And then it got to the point where it was something I began to like. And he planted the seed in my mind that I could eventually go to different countries, travel to compete, to be a part of the Paralympics, and just to have an amazing athletic career.
And you hold a record for long jump, is that correct?
Yeah, I hold the world record in my visual classification. So I have my best jump is 22 feet, and that's 6.73 meters. And yeah, set that last year in a track meet that we had in Arizona. So that was pretty good.
Wow, that's so good. And so it seems like when there were key people that took an interest in you, they saw something special, they saw potential in you, they believed in you and worked with you to get you to meet your potential and to realize it. Is that correct?
Exactly. I've always had, some instrumental people in my life, so that's pretty awesome.
That is. I know on your website at lexgillette.com, your tagline is "Who needs sight when you have vision?" How would you differentiate sight and vision?
Well, physical sight is, that's what you focus on right now. That's what you see right now. So, you have the computer or the desk that my computer is sitting on, and you can see these things, they're right here in front of you. But when you have a vision, when you have a vision, you have the ability to see something before it's in existence. So, for example, going back to when I was talking about my coach, sorry for a second. Voiceover off. Peter's talking.
It's okay.
But going back to, my coach, he had a vision for me, and he told me that eventually, you'll be able to go to different countries, compete against people from different places around the world and break records and win Paralympic medals. And, that vision that he had eventually came to pass. I've traveled to so many countries. I've competed against a lot of people. I've won Paralympic medals, and, I have a world record. So when you have the ability to see something before it's in existence, why would you need to see it right now?
Yes, that reminds me of what it says in the Bible. Some people need to see what to believe, but some people believe in order to see. And I
Exactly.
love that. Love it. So, you said it was your coach's vision, but how did you adopt that vision for yourself? Because, it's one thing for someone to see something in you and another thing for you to take ownership of that gift and say, yes, that this is me and this is possible for me. And I will drive myself and push myself to realize that vision.
Yeah, so my coach at that time, he had taken me to a sports camp in Michigan, and it was specifically for athletes who have visual impairments. And that's pretty much where everything was born for me. Um, I can remember basically during the camp, you had different activities that you would choose, and throughout that week, you would go to different clinics and you would work on that craft in those sessions. And at the end of the week, you would compete against people who were a part of those sports. So running long jump was one of the things that I had chosen. And at the end of the week, there was a guy at this sports camp, and he was like the legend. Nobody had beaten him for the past few years in running long jump. So it was just like a perfect setup for me to come in there and try to accomplish something big. So we had about 3 jumps, and I was losing after my first 2, and my third one, that's when I had my best jump, and that's what kind of dethroned him, if you will. And when I got back to North Carolina, I decided I wanted to join my track team. And once I was a part of the team and saw that, everybody embraced me and I was just another person on the team, then I knew that, I could potentially be, a force in this sport, especially on the Paralympic scene.
You said something very interesting right now. You said once I understood that they saw me as just part of the team. Was there things growing up where you weren't just part of the team, or your disability got in the way of anything, or?
Yeah, because I think that, once it started happening, it was really difficult to explain to my friends what was going on. I was at a young age, 10, 11 years old, or 9, 10, I guess, somewhere around there. But to not be able to not know what was happening with my body and to not be able to explain it to my friends, that was really difficult because they asked questions and, for the answers that you can't give to their questions, they assume. And, once people start making assumptions, then that just kind of, I don't know, it just seems as though they're dictating to you what you're doing or what may be happening to you. So, growing up, I really couldn't explain to them what was happening because, I didn't really know myself. So I was just, I don't know, sometimes it felt like an outsider or I wasn't really supposed to be in that place. And it was definitely difficult. But again, it just got to the point where after I finally realized that, I could take control of the situation and make the best of this, then that's when the tables started to turn.
Yeah, I think there's a definite power shift that happens when you are just receiving the help, or people are just are treating you like a victim versus saying no, I can contribute just as much as the next person, if not more.
Exactly.
It's a great feeling to know that you can contribute for who you are, not for what you don't have. So,
Yes.
and that's, I think that's part of your story that's so inspiring, is that you don't have sight, and yet you've pushed yourself beyond the limits of what a lot of people have thought are possible. And there might be someone watching this right now and they have a vision. I had a vision for this web TV show. Okay, I know this is what I want. I'm supposed to do, but a lot of people don't fulfill on that vision. They shrink back. They get scared. They feel like they don't have the skills or the knowledge to fulfill that vision. What three things would you say to someone to encourage them that they could fulfill that vision? Or what three values are important to fulfill a vision?
Well, I would say that, from my experience, I would first say that you definitely have to believe in yourself, because as much as you may have someone who, thinks highly of you or thinks that you can do this or do that, there's no way that you can accomplish it unless you, in your heart and mind, believe that you can do it yourself. And that's kind of like in my situation, that's what pretty much just got the ball rolling. And I would say that another thing that has helped me out is just trusting. And again, not only, trusting yourself, but trusting people around you, especially in my situation, since I can't see, I do have people who help me out on a daily basis, especially in track and field. And I can remember initially, before I had that trust, it just wasn't working. There was a lot of friction between me and my guy runner or long jump caller. And I don't know if you've seen any of the videos, but on YouTube, I am running at somebody who's clapping for me. So, to put that trust in someone's hand to run 100% full speed at this person while they're just, clapping, and you're depending on them to make sure that you don't get hurt. Yeah, it's mind-boggling sometimes, and that's how I thought of it at first. But as I grew into the sport, you just figured out that, all right, if I do my job and I allow this person to do their job, then it just makes everything so much easier and so much smoother, and the productivity, it skyrockets.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the third thing I would say is probably just hard work and determination. I mean, nothing that is extremely worthwhile in life is going to be given to you. You have to go out there and you have to put in the work to get it accomplished. And that's one thing that, my mom has taught me, that, you're just as good as anybody else in society. You have so much to offer to this world. So, get out there. Nobody's going to have pity for you. Go out there, make it happen, put in the work, and get it done.
Beautiful. So 1, believe in yourself. 2, trust other people around you that they can do their job, and so you can do your job. And 3, hard work and determination would be the 3 keys to fulfilling a vision. Which is beautifully said. I wanted to tear up when you said trust, because I think as a person with a disability myself, that is definitely one of the things that people with disabilities have to learn, is to put almost their lives in the hands of others, and trust that it's all going to be okay. And okay, so those are the three qualities one must have that to fulfill a vision. But what if one doesn't have a vision? What if one feels like they're just kind of on this earth meandering, they're kind of lost, they're not really sure what their purpose is? What would you say to somebody who doesn't feel they have a vision?
I think that in that situation, because I feel like I went through that before myself, I just stay open to a lot of things. I just ventured around and explored and tried new things. Because me personally, I like doing a lot of things, but I feel like if you don't have a vision, then man, that's a good one.
I stumped you. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think, because I've gone through that. I feel like I still go through it sometimes, but it's just little bits and pieces that as I live and as I live and as I go on, you just get these signs. And for me, I
would agree with you, Lex. It's, I grow, just moving through life, I definitely have become aware of signs or things that come into my life that maybe I'm supposed to be paying attention to, that helps lead to the next vision. Or sometimes just being open and, finding that quiet and still place and asking, what am I supposed to do now? Who am I supposed to be now? Who am I supposed to become? Because I know for you, you're right now and growing up and to now, you're a hardcore athlete. That's what you've done. But I know you're also a singer and songwriter. You've now gone into the motivational speaking arena. So your vision has changed and evolved as well. And I think that's important for people to understand, that you might have a vision right now of what it's supposed to look like. But that can evolve, that can develop, that can transform as you transform, and you just have to be open to the signs of what's next, versus thinking a vision is static, because it never is static. Life is always changing. So I wanna talk about that, because I did listen to your song on iTunes. So you're kind of a hip hop artist, and you talk about your songs are motivational in terms of their message. When did you start wanting to delve into music?
I think I've always been fascinated with music, just because I feel like music is a universal language, so everyone understands music, whether it be through lyrics or instruments or just melodies. So I feel like when I was going through the time where I just felt like it was just me, music was kind of like the one thing that, I could connect to everyone because, like I said, everyone listens to some sort of music. And initially, I would keep it under the wraps. I wasn't really singing around too many people or talking about it because it wasn't like running where somebody asks you, oh yeah, are you fast? Like if you're sitting in the room, nobody would be like, oh yeah, let's run right now. But if somebody heard that you could sing, oh yeah, let me sing. Let me hear you sing right now. And so I just never would really talk about it too much. But again, like we were talking about earlier, just something just told me that, this is another part of the package that, you can incorporate into what you do. And it's certainly something that I can do after I'm running because I'll only be able to run for so long. But music, you can do that until God knows when.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just wanted to incorporate that into everything. And, it just seemed like another avenue that I needed to travel down and again, to just communicate to everyone. And actually just put up one song a few months ago. It's on iTunes and it's called On the Stage. And it's basically it's like an inspirational song, piano and the vocals, just talking about what it means to represent the USA on the world stage and in athletics. So that's like one of the latest ones right now. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, I liked it too. So for those of you that are interested, check out on iTunes On the Stage by Lex Gillette and get that song. It's definitely inspiring. I think you said something that's really important that I would just want to point out to our viewers is that everyone, you're Lex Gillette, the runner, so it was natural for people to ask you, are you fast? Anything about your long jump, you were the athlete. And, when we fall into a role, I just don't want people, what you did is you didn't allow people to just put you in a box. Like that's like, I'm Lex Gillette, the athlete only, you had something else stirring inside you and you felt a need to express yourself through that art of music. And so, when people put you in that box, don't let them put you in that box because we're ever changing and there's always more talents for us to explore. And I can see why you would be an excellent motivational speaker who, when you go out and speak to audiences, who's your primary audience?
You know what it ranges a lot. But for the past, before I left San Diego, I was speaking to a lot of kids. We have a program that is joined with the Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista. And so the school system, they send, I think, like three classes a day or something like that to the training center. So they come out and they get to view the facility and see how we train and to get lessons on nutritional items and all of those things. And so the last part, they come into the classroom and they ask athletes to come in and, talk to the kids, interact and speak to them. So I'm usually caught doing that a lot. And I've also done a lot of events for disability awareness groups, organizations, and I actually have one in a couple weeks with a company, so that should be pretty cool. Doing some employee motivational type things, so that should be nice. I mean, it varies, and as in any speech, just depending on who the audience is, then I'll try to tailor what my message will be, just so I can, target them in the fashion that they need to be targeted.
Right. What would you say is your main message, though?
I think it usually does revolve around the no need for sight when you have a vision. Because, that's obviously how I've been able to acquire a lot of my success. So, from a kid's standpoint, as kids, we have dreams and we wish to accomplish those dreams somehow. So, I try to teach them about that and related in that. that aspect. And from a company standpoint, every company they have a vision and a mission statement, something that they wish to achieve in the future. So that certainly aligns with what they want to accomplish, as a firm.
Beautiful. I love that message and that tagline. I do believe that everything starts with the vision, and it's nice to be able to see someone not only, play off your disability a little bit, but exemplifies that, illustrates that fully in his life. So thank you for being an example to others of what's possible when you can hold that vision in your mind's eye. I we talk about the hard work. We talk about the qualities that are needed to fulfill a vision. And I want to just ask you a couple more questions, but it's the reward of realizing that vision. You're a two-time silver medalist. You're a world record holder in the long jump in your classification, so those are all the results of all your hard work, believing in yourself and trusting others. What does it feel like to cross that line as a silver medalist or to have that record? So what's the rewards, the feelings that you get because of that vision fulfilled?
Honestly, it's so intrinsically satisfying because I often think back to the times when I was going through the sight loss process, and I would have never seen myself in this position. And to have met Brian Whitmer, my initial coach, and for him to have introduced me to this, it was like a godsend pretty much because, like I said, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I knew that I was going to graduate from high school, go to college, and I don't know, get a job or something. And so to have had this opportunity, it's been such a blessing to be able to travel around the world and to experience so many cultures, to meet so many people, to be a part of just a crazy amount of opportunities. It's been ridiculously fun and amazing, and it's so, I don't know, it's hard to put into words sometimes, but I think one of the other things that's really cool about it is, although I'm out here trying to do things for myself and be successful, for any other visually impaired person or any person who has a physical limitation, for them to see my story, I really feel good about that because, although, Lex Gillette is the runner, he's the singer, he does this and that, whatever, the message is way much bigger than me alone. It just, anything that you see in your heart and your mind and you believe that you can do it, then you can accomplish it. And like I say, even though my name is attached to all of these things, it's really not about me. It's about what we can do as human beings.
Oh, beautifully said. Again, you make me want to cry because I think that's such an important factor. I know a lot of people with disabilities try to fight that. I don't want to be inspirational, but it's not always about us as individuals. It's about the message that comes across through us. And I think it's important for us to remember that. It keeps us humble. And I am completely honored to have you on the show. So thank you so much, Lex, for showing up in as the best possible Lex Gillette in this world and showing us what's possible. So I think we'll close here. Do you have any final parting words?
Yeah, I just appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for asking me to be a part of the show. And, I start competing in the 2012 London Paralympics on Monday. So, things are going to be busy. I have 5 events. Like I said, I start on Monday and I end on Saturday. So hopefully I'll be able to bring back a gold medal for the United States of America. And thank everyone back at home for all of the support. And I love you, Mom.
Good boy. Oh, good. Thank you so much. I hope that today's show has inspired you to catch a vision, believe in yourself, trust others, and put the hard work and determination it takes to fulfill that vision, because that vision is probably bigger than you, bigger than me. It's probably granted to you and comes through you for a much bigger purpose, and the rewards are priceless. So thank you for tuning in, and until we meet again, be blessed.